Now, it was a bloody weekend in Zamfara State, northwest Nigeria, as more than 6 persons, including a police corporal, were killed by gunmen in Gulbimbori village. That's in Zomin local government area of the state.
Well, the police spokesperson in the state, Mohammed Shehu, said the community was attacked at about 10 p.m. by assailants numbering about 100. According to him, 11 vehicles, including a police vehicle, 3 motorcycles and 5 kiosks were set ablaze by the attackers. The state has been targeted severally by people described by authorities as bandits who also steal livestock. Well, we still have with us in the studio to talk to us about the unending banditry in Zamfara State, security expert Kelechi Obiakwata. Thank you for your patience.
It's all right.
All right. The federal government, recall, in July, sent military, about 1,000 strong force of the military to Zamfara State, Air Force as well, and they recorded huge success there, But this happening all over again after the successes, recorded, is baffling.
Yeah, like we said previously when we were discussing Kaduna, you have to do proper diagnosis of an ailment before you can really heal it or attack it to the source. You must understand, when you have malaria, there are symptoms. Maybe you have headache, you take Panadol. It doesn't take away the malaria. After a while, the malaria resurfaces. You have to take malaria medicine for the malaria to be healed. So it doesn't matter the number of forces or security men or equipment that are sent to Zamfara State. The right things have to be done. And it begins by proper risk analysis. Assets characterization. What are those things in Zamfara State that makes it a state? What do they own? What are their assets? The people and their maybe natural resources, the economy, maybe their industries, as the case may be, their farmlands and all that. Those are the assets. What are the threats against these assets? For instance, we hear that they have solid minerals, gold, and there are illegal mining activities going on in this state. Do you not think there are people who want to benefit from these mining activities and want to maybe stop the state or even the authorities from having exclusive control? So there may be cartels who are in charge and who want to decimate the state in order to be in authority. So proper risk analysis and characterization of these assets to know who are the adversaries. If you know who are the adversaries, like we know now there are kidnappings going on, cattle rustling, armed robbery, banditry, and reckless killing of people. Now you zoom into that. What are the equipments? What are the instruments of these bandits? What are they using? You try to understand their equipments. We call it protection in depth. You understand what they use, the implements, the equipments, one after the other. You analyze it. If you understand them, then you can now, in the mitigation process, you get a better equipment in order to
neutralize
them.
Now,
this has to be done for us to have a quick solution. Take, for instance, 100 bandits to a village. Intelligence should be able to, verify how these bandits gather, where they gather, from where they take off.
Where do they go to?
Their routes. Where do they end up after these attacks and all that. That should be the work of intelligence. And you analyze it. Then you take them from there. Because I don't understand, I can't see a village that will withstand 100, marauding forces. I don't see a village that will withstand that. I don't even see security unit that could withstand that. That looks like a battalion of soldiers that would go and fight that war. So now, if they don't have the proper information, we'll be running from pillar to post
back and forth
about this situation.
Now, as she mentioned earlier, she made reference to how government has tried to solve the problem there.
Yeah.
Sending Air Force members, security agencies, close to 1,000 or thereabout. And now we are back to ground zero again. Doesn't that show that we do not have sustainable strategy?
That's it.
To fight what's on ground?
That's what it shows, precisely. Because how do nations fight wars? Okay, I'm not a student of warfare, but I think at this point in time, for those who are in charge, they need to study warfare. They need to understand what goes on, that there needs to be strategy. Let's assume
But many will tell you that Nigerian security officers, soldiers, Navy are well trained, they've got international standard training. But when it comes down to their effectiveness, that's where the question is. When they go outside Nigeria, they perform optimally. But when they come back to the country, the reverse is usually the case.
Yeah,
and
okay.
it's not the blame, as we've heard, not totally the blame of these officers. But somehow there's something somewhere not using them right or giving them counter instructions most of the time, because when victims tell you their experiences, they will tell you that they called some officers, they reported the case, that they told them about an impending attack, but somehow nobody showed up for the period the attacks would take place.
Maybe we look at the command system of these forces, because there has to be a command structure. There has to be where instruction is given and all that. Maybe that's also a place to look at, from the highest ranking down to, you know, the cascading of the instruction or information. But the point I'm making is this. In as much as the federal government, for instance, I read a report that the state government spent over about 17 billion in the few years this has lasted. That's enough to revamp that state. That's enough to equip it infrastructurally, educationally, and give them everything they needed, including security, workable security. But because maybe they are, you know, deployed in piecemeal and without strategy, you know, you see, you spend more money when you didn't plan spending. You do it as it comes. You do it as it comes. He was hosting the military, was hosting the police, this battalion, feeding these displaced people and all that. There's no strategy towards that. Another point is that at this point in time, the situation could also be rated as terrorism. Okay? Outright terrorism. And you know, terrorism is an asymmetric warfare. It doesn't have war front. So what happened is that there should be proper, you know, strategy. And the people themselves should be properly informed about the situation at hand. Firstly, there must be a proper study of this situation and proper understanding of it. If we don't have the proper understanding, we'll just be treating the symptoms. And that's exactly where we have been. But my recommendation is that government should go down and sit down and strategically look at this situation. What is fanning the ember of this banditry in Zamfara state? What is the root cause? We learned that through report that initially it was because of a confrontation between the farmers and the herdsmen. But that has been a long time, okay? If it's been taken advantage of by this banditry, something needs to be done.
All right. All right. There were moments in the past that people have talked about these guys coming, infiltrating the state from other regions and all of that. And if you remember, there were moments that, I mean, times in the past when we had forest guards, you know, watching the forest. Don't you think that we also need to, you know, go back to those times? Because these guys, they pass through the forest. They cannot pass through where normal people pass through.
Yeah.
So do you not think that there is a need now to begin to go back to some of those measures?
Yeah, but that's why we have borders.
Do we really have manned
borders? There are borders and there are border controls, okay? It is true that in Nigeria, our borders, even the government will tell you that they are very porous and highly, you know, passable without controls.
They identified about 1,400
149 or thereabout. Okay? So the point is this. Actually, these are some of the issues which analysis will bring to the fore. There are porous border situations. Okay, fine. So what are the bordering states to Zamfara? What is happening in those states? You do the analysis. Are those states safe? Now, you see that Zamfara is in the northwest. And apparently, some of the northwestern states are more or less calm, except Zamfara. Okay, who are the other neighboring states to Zamfara? Maybe northeast and all that. What is going on in those states? We have to characterize, we have to understand. And the border situation, okay, are the things that need to be so. Okay, if the issue now is discovered to be at the border, it is easy to deal with. You start working on your border situations. Do you get my point?
Yes.
That is the essence of the analysis, because you have to, you have to isolate where the problem is coming from, and you start treating it from there. But if we don't have this, then we'll just be fighting from all fronts, and we'll not be able to get a proper solution
And
to this
there's
problem.
a problem of arms proliferation in Zamfara state as well. I recall that there was a time that the governor said that they should shoot aside whoever was carrying arms, and the president even read riot acts really on illegal arms and possession. For you to understand the state of that problem in Zamfara state, and add to that, because many have accused the governor of Yari doing close to nothing really, because they call him absentee governor, because he is the chairman of Governors Forum.
But
so
that
most
doesn't mean
usually
he
is in Abuja most of the time. So they say he's not even there at home to have a hands-on information on what he should do at the right time.
Yeah, let me tell you what is playing out in Zamfara state. They have security issues which borders with their natural resources, the illegal mining that is going on there. People are in charge, people are making the money. And for them to be there, it leads to other crimes, like arms proliferation, and it also leads to this banditry, because there has to be groups to protect the barons, or those who are actually the cartels, the godfathers, those who are actually in charge. And also, information gathered is that there are more bats in this state. There's no bat control. Women are very fertile and, giving birth, and there is no education. Because, this education thing is very important. You can see a child of two years, toddling to school, carrying his school bag, is very happy. Every morning he's looking forward to the rhymes and all that's happening in the classroom. So for so many years, that child is being, acculturated, is being educated, is being, formalized to a way of life. So these thoughts are very far away from that child. Unlike when you have children who grow up every day, know where to go, nothing to do, they are easy tools for radicalization. So you would also agree with me that radicalization is fast going on in that state. So the problem is becoming hydra-headed, because there is no actual control or strategy to take care of these things. It begins with the leadership of the state. It begins with understanding the economy of the state. How are these people faring with all that is around them? Are they feeding well? Do they have anything they're doing on day-to-day basis? Now, they've taken over their farmlands in terms of, the husbandry they're doing. Most of their cattle have disappeared, as the case may be, and maybe farmers will not easily go to farm and relax to do their farming. So they have withdrawn. So there may be hunger in this state.
And Kelechi, do you also think that the problem, just as you mentioned, is hydra-headed?
Yes.
The effect, is chain-like.
Exactly.
Now you have more than 6,000 IDPs, about 3,000 lives have been taken and all of that, and that makes it very worrisome.
Yes. It is actually no wonder somebody was asking for state of emergency to be declared there. You see, something drastic needs to be done, and it begins by getting in control of the leadership of the state, understanding what this state is cut out for. You understand? For instance, I'm not sure they have quality employment with what is going on. Okay, I'm not sure the education is running well. I'm not sure the economy is running well. So the basic provisions of the government to the people is not there. Security is gone. Economy is
absolutely gone. Recall that last year.
Education cannot be stable because you can't send your child to a school where tomorrow,
insecurity problem.
Insecurity problem.
Kelechi, just last year, recall that Sani Usman, the spokesperson of the army, said they arrested some 2 suspected illegal arms dealers who were carrying more than 1,000 ammunition to illegal miners.
Yes.
Because that seems to be the heart of the problem in Zamfara state.
Exactly.
And we've been made to understand from what we've got so far, information we've got so far, that these miners have godfathers among prominent people in that state, meaning that rich people, influential people,
Political issue.
are behind this.
Political issue in quote. If you look at this Zamfara problem very deep down, you will see some major sponsors who are only interested in their own progress and prosperity, and damn the rest of the people that are giving their life for it. So it takes a purposeful leadership to look at what is going on in the state. It's a solvable problem. The state is a geographical location.
Indeed.
Okay? It is limited. It has a scope.
All right.
Okay? So within the scope of this state, somebody should take control of it and understand what is going on, and understand who are the infiltrators, and understand who are the insider sponsors of what is going on. But the moment you decimate or you pick up these people and hold them responsible for what is going on in the state, you will detonate what is going on. Because these boys, these 100 or 50 or 60 boys, they have masters.
All right.
Somebody knows, somebody somewhere knows what they are doing.
All right.
And if intelligence can pick up these people, the cat, the pack will fall. Yeah.
Kelechi, excuse me.
Sorry.
Kelechi Obiakwata, security expert. We must thank you very much indeed for helping to dissect and put into perspective our bird's eye view the problems we're having in Zamfara State. We do hope that those in authority are listening, also to pick up one or two things to be able to add to ensure that there is a solution to the problem there. Thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.